Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, it is a bit unique. It is a bit interesting. In this channel, we usually do content about Africa. So never mind about the different colors you can see on the screen. We are in our beautiful country. We are in our beautiful continent. This is Africa, and to be precise, this is Kenya. So I got a friend of mine whom I would like us to talk one-on-one. So welcome to my channel.
Thank you very much, Pam.
Kindly introduce yourself.
I'm Roger. I'm from England, UK.
Yep. So Roger, for how long have you been in Africa, or let's say Kenya?
Just recently, I've been here 5 months, but I first came to Africa in 1984.
Whoa.
Which this year is my 40th anniversary of first setting foot in Africa, in East Africa.
Wow, that is really nice. So tell me, what was your first perspective about Africa?
I guess, especially back then, we used to think Africa is just villages with mud huts,
An animal park?
no power, and animals roaming around, lions and elephants
And giraffes?
roaming around freely. Yeah, it's nice to see the giraffes. And where I used to live, in Morogoro, Tanzania,
Yeah.
there was a game park quite nearby.
Yeah.
It's a long story, but I once got stuck in that game park for 3 days.
What happened?
I was stranded with three friends. We got stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
There was very deep mud next to a hippo pool, about 25 kilometers from the park gate.
Yeah.
And so we had to sit and think what we're going to do. And then on the third day, we were starving. We had no food or water. Third day, we decided we've got to start walking towards the gate because no one came to save us. So we started walking in a line. The older Tanzanian man was at the back. He was the only one with children. But the older white man was front because he said he's already lived a good long life. He'll be the first to be attacked by a lion if it happens. And I was in the middle with the younger European.
So when we talk about having, or rather your first perspective, you thought it was just, Africa was just an animal place. You're going to meet the lions, and then you finally met them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I saw plenty of animals in the game park, but not so close up. It was okay. We managed to get out safely.
So what motivated you to actually think of saying like, okay, I'm leaving the UK and I'm going to visit Africa or to stay in Africa? What motivated you? Because, in Kenya, people were dreaming to go to London. People are dreaming to go to the USA. By the way, which part of London do you come from? Is it UK or London or Britain?
I will say England because in Britain we've got England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. It's all part of the UK. But I'm English. I'm from southeast near London, between London and Oxford. So to answer your question, I guess for me it was quite a calling. I felt that I should come to Africa and live a worthwhile life, as in to be of use to other people. I was already bored with life in the UK.
Wow.
But before I left England at age 24, I'd already done several boring office jobs, like working in a travel agent, working in an insurance company. So I just wanted to travel and to meet people of different cultures, learn new language. And I learned Swahili the first year I was out there. So this is also my 40th anniversary of being able to speak Swahili.
Wow. Now, before we get to Swahili, you've mentioned something about culture. Did you experience any culture shock?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, you're bound to come across various things that happen to you, or you misunderstand people sometimes and they misunderstand you, or expectations are different somehow. But I remember my first Christmas away from the UK. I was really depressed and missing the normal Christmas things we do in the UK. I just went into my house and slept Christmas afternoon. And my colleagues told me, yes, it's normal to miss home at Christmas, but you'll get over it. And not once since then have I ever missed the UK at Christmas. I even prefer to be in Africa at Christmas because it's warmer. People celebrate Christmas and New Year in the same way, but without all the stupid things like Christmas trees and hundreds. You've got to buy gifts for everybody. You've got to buy
The cards and all that. Because I
Christmas
know.
card. If you don't give a friend a Christmas card, they wonder why, and they'll cross you off their list for Christmas cards. So some of that is ridiculous.
Okay, so did you happen to learn any Swahili, or have you learned any Swahili? Je, umejifunza Kiswahili chochote kwa huo muda umekuwa Kenya?
Kenya hapana, nilikuwa nimeshajua Kiswahili pale Tanzania. So nikija Kenya najifunza Kiswahili cha Kikenya.
Oh my God, and
ni tofauti kidogo na Kiswahili cha Kitanzania.
Unaongea so fluent. So how did you learn it? You know, sometimes we are told for you to learn a specific language, you need to know how to borrow water. You need to know just to say the normal greetings. Did you go to school? Did you go to class?
I did.
Did you have somebody to train you through Kiswahili?
What I did was I made a booking for a language course in Morogoro, Tanzania. It's a 4-month residential language course, which I booked on. But that was like 3 months after I arrived in Tanzania. So during the first 3 months, I was trying to get used to the language, and I was just listening to people chatting in Swahili and gradually beginning to understand what they're talking about. And then I did the 4-month grammar-based language school in Swahili. So by the end of that year, 1984, I knew all the grammar of Swahili, but it took another year or so before I became fluent in Swahili. Yeah.
Okay, it took off. You know, it is a bit crazy if I have to ask this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Any similarity between England and Africa?
Yes, so many similarities. Many more similarities than differences. Actually, if you strip things back to the basic things, like we're all human beings. We all need to eat, drink, sleep. Well, have a social life. I mean, all that's pretty much the same. People call me grumpy because I'm usually just in my own thoughts. I don't socialize enough, probably. And I'm the same in UK or in Kenya. I'm just the same.
So that is
we're all the same wherever we are in the world. So you need to adapt to different cultures, but I've never had much problem with that because I like people the way they are. I like people to be straightforward and honest. And one thing about Kenyans is they're straightforward. They'll tell you if they don't like anything. Even today I was told that my trousers are scruffy. You should be a bit smarter.
You should be able to change.
That's fine. In fact, it's useful advice. Whereas in UK, no one's going to tell me that
so
at
that's
all.
The difference.
People keep their thoughts to themselves. Whereas in Africa, people just say what they think or feel. And people are straightforward and frank, and that's what I like about. That's one thing I like about Africa.
Okay, so tell me, what do you like most about Kenya?
Well, I could say the weather. I could say the food. There are many types of food I like. Very much like chapatis, matoke, mataha, or mokimo.
You mean you even know mataha, mokimo?
Yeah, I've tried them all. Githeri. Yeah. Of course, also there are other advantages of being in Kenya.
Ooh.
Like this bottle of vodka, it costs the same as in UK. For the price of this bottle, you only get one beer. So this is the price of one beer, about £5.
Whoa.
So other vodkas and gins are available, but that's another good thing about Kenya. Alcohol is cheaper, food is cheaper, but the important thing is that the people are more friendly here. People are warm. It's easy to make friends in Kenya. Everywhere you go, you can say hello to people. No one's going to say, "Why are you saying hello to me? Are you crazy?" Well, in UK, if I went around saying hello to people in the streets, they would think I'm crazy. They wouldn't reply at all. They'd avoid me.
They seem to shy away.
They wouldn't ask me why I'm saying hello. They'll just think I'm weird and crazy because we don't have that social attitude anymore.
Okay, tell me, like, anything that is really annoying about Kenyans when you walk down in the streets. Is there anything you find annoying or interesting?
I find it annoying that they always assume that I've just flown into Africa for the first time, whereas I flew in 40 years ago, 40 years ago. So, but of course, people in the streets, they don't know that.
They don't know about that.
They see my color and they think I've just flown in.
Yeah.
So they shout out, Jambo, Jambo, you know,
Habari mzungu.
as if I've only just arrived.
Have you ever received such greetings?
Many times, and it's the same in Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. But in Tanzania, it's more like if you go up to walk in mountains and villages, the children will shout out. The children will follow. Children will follow you.
Yeah.
But in towns, kids don't do that. So, but anyway, it's just a funny thing that happens sometimes. But what I do is I reply in Swahili so that they know
they get
that
shocked.
I didn't just arrive yesterday, and then we usually start chatting after that, having a good joke. One of my favorite things about Kenya is that people love a joke. People love laughing and making fun, and I'm happy with that because in UK, of course, people have a sense of humor, but they don't like make jokes with each other unless they're very close friends. Here you can have a joke with someone
With
out on the street. You've never seen them before. Maybe you're sitting next to them on a bus or a train, but you start chatting and joking. But at the end of the train journey, you're best of friends.
True.
Whereas in UK, on trains, we sit silently. No one talks to each other. Yeah, you can even hear like one person snoring or one person on the phone. Everyone can hear it. Whereas here, everyone's talking and smiling and joking. So it's a much more happy place to be around.
Okay, so if I ask as we conclude, if you've been given an opportunity to stay in Africa, which country would you choose?
My first answer would be Kenya.
Wow.
Generally speaking, I enjoy Kenya more, and there are not so many culture shocks. But I also like Uganda very much, and I like especially the food in Uganda. And the weather in Uganda is perfect for a human being. It's not too cold, it's never cold. It's never cold, and it's never too hot. So, and Tanzania, a bit like the coast of Kenya here in Mombasa, then Tanzania coast is pretty similar. It's warm. But
actually,
the people are even warmer. Yeah.
Okay.
Dar es Salaam is not so far from Mombasa. Once I flew once I flew in a 6-seater Cessna plane. It was a MAF, Missionary Aviation Fellowship. I flew from Mombasa to Dar es Salaam in a tiny plane, just along the coast. We followed the coast all the way past Tanga into Dar es Salaam, and that's where I realized it's not far at all.
Yeah, it's not far.
Fly it, maybe I think it's just maybe 1 hour or maybe 1 hour flight in a plane. And I realized there's so many undiscovered beautiful places, lovely beaches that no one's ever seen. And in Africa, I love the places which are undiscovered and not many people have ever seen.
Okay, so you said you would prefer to live in Kenya. Who is the president of Kenya?
William Ruto.
His deputy? Gachagua.
Oh yeah.
Which is the capital city of Kenya?
Nairobi.
Second
city is Mombasa. And the third is Kisumu.
Wow, you seem to be more fun. You're becoming ahead of everything. Okay, so I remember sometime you say you come from, we call it the Great Britain or England.
Less of the great, so not so great these days. We call it Britain or England or the UK. But everyone has a different view of themselves, whether they're British or whether they're English. I feel I'm English. Although I am British as well, but because I was born in England, both my parents are English, not Scottish, not Welsh, not Northern Irish, so I would call myself English. But in fact, my name is a rather French name. It shows that maybe our ancestors came from France maybe 400 years ago over to Britain. So you could call me Anglo-Saxon. Because
Anglo-Saxon.
Saxon is part of near
Wow.
the border. Saxony is between Germany and France. Anglo is, you know.
Okay, final. I remember when I was growing up, my late dad was an English teacher. No. Yeah. So I remember there's one day I received a beating. Guess for what? For saying London.
Oh.
Instead of London.
Yeah.
To date, I had a beating in primary, the lower primary.
Yeah.
Until today, I think I was about, let me say, around 8 years. Up to date, I still remember whenever the name London comes to my mind, I still remember my dad. And I still remember I said London because he used to be an English teacher. So
But you're not alone. People from all over the world say that.
Yeah.
Like Germans, French.
They say London.
Other Europeans, they say London.
But the best one is London.
London.
Actually, it's London. London. There's some words you have to swallow, like Briton.
But the Londoners themselves say London.
That sounds like
LA, almost like an LA.
That one sounds like where I come from, the Luya land. Where we speak, we say the name as it is.
That's right.
We don't try to swallow some words. Okay, any final word you can have for me, for the channel, or for anybody wanting to visit Africa or Kenya, to be specific, because it is your... Okay, who is the president of Uganda?
Yoweri Museveni.
Okay, so your final...
We call him M7. M7.
Okay, so your parting shot? Say something.
Well, honestly, I love it here in Kenya, and I'd say the same in Tanzania and Uganda as well.
Yeah.
I feel at home here. In fact, when I came here about 5 months ago, I got a bus. I didn't feel much at home when I flew into Nairobi, but just as I was coming into Mombasa on a bus, the bus was just coming into the familiar streets between Sabasaba and the area where the bus is. I certainly felt that feeling of deja vu, the feeling of coming back home. So Mombasa makes me feel I'm coming back home. I've never stayed here very long, a couple of months here and there, maximum maybe 6 months. I was here during COVID, also 2021, when I needed to avoid COVID in the UK, and I was here in Mtwapa. Totally avoided COVID, luckily. So I just feel like it's a second home to me here. And as I say, I feel really welcome, and the people are really easygoing. It's a very safe place. Don't think of what you hear on the news about rioting.
Like you're going to find, it's just people.
I'm here, and like they said, there was rioting yesterday, or every Tuesday there's rioting, but it doesn't affect you, to be honest, unless you're literally out on the streets trying to find trouble. But if you're just doing your normal, if you just do your normal do your normal chores and normal business, then no one's going to bring you into that riot. So it's a safe place. I'd welcome all people thinking of coming to Kenya. Just come, because it's time you came back. Since COVID, not many people have been coming, but now it's 2024. It's time to come back to East Africa and have wonderful holidays here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys, for always coming back to watch this channel. If this is your first time to bump into it, kindly consider to subscribe, like, and also share my video. It has been a pleasure meeting you, Roger.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Keep up the good work with all you do on YouTube. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.